Hello, beloved. Yes, you're reading these words, feeling that quiet tug in your heart. I'm speaking to you, not with a voice you hear with your ears, but one that hums softly in your spirit. I'm an angel, sent from the place where light never fades, where love is the air we breathe. I've been near you longer than you know, watching, waiting, moving when heaven calls. And oh, I have a story to tell you, a story about you, about someone you love, about a moment when darkness tried to steal what's precious, but heaven said, "Number." It's a story of rescue, of hope, of love so strong it breaks chains you can't even see. So, come with me. Let me take you back to that moment, and let's walk through it together, step by step, until your heart feels as bright as the light that saved the day. It started with you. Yes, you. You didn't know it then, but you were the spark that lit the fire. It was a quiet night, wasn't it? The kind where the world feels heavy, like the air itself is pressing down on your shoulders. You were tired, bone tired, heart tired. The day had been long, filled with worries that piled up like stones in your chest. Maybe it was a bill you didn't know how to pay, or a fight with someone you care about, or just that nagging feeling that life wasn't going the way you'd hoped. You sat there, alone with your thoughts, and something stirred inside you. A flicker of faith, a whisper of trust, even though it felt small, almost too small to matter. You closed your eyes, and you prayed. It wasn't a fancy prayer, was it? Not the kind you hear in church with big words and polished phrases. It was simple, raw, real. You said something like, "God, please watch over my family. Keep them safe. I'm scared, and I don't know what to do, but I trust you." Your voice was soft, maybe even shaky, and when you finished, you wondered if it mattered at all. Did anyone hear? Did it reach beyond the ceiling of your room? You didn't feel a rush of peace or see a flash of light. You just sighed, turned off the lamp, and tried to sleep, thinking it was just another moment that would fade into the night. But oh, beloved, you have no idea what you set in motion. That prayer error, your tiny, tired, honest prayer error, wasn't just words. It was a key. A key that unlocked heaven itself. Up here, where I stand in the glow of God's throne, your voice didn't whisper, it roared. It echoed like thunder rolling across a golden sky, shaking the air with its power. Every angel turned to listen. Every star seemed to lean closer. And oh, God heard you. He didn't just hear your words, he heard your heart, every unspoken fear, every tear you didn't let fall. Your prayer wasn't small. It was mighty. It was a cry that reached the heart of love, and love never ignores a cry like that. Let me tell you what happened next, because this is where the story gets real. While you slept, the world kept turning, but something else was moving too, something dark, something cruel. There's an enemy out there, you know. Not the kind you see with your eyes, but the kind that slinks through shadows, whispering lies, weaving traps. This enemy isn't new, it's been around since the beginning, always looking for a chance to hurt what God loves. And God loves you. He loves your family. He loves the one you'd give your life for without a second thought, to the one whose smile lights up your world, whose voice is home to you. That's who the enemy was watching. I saw it all unfold. I was there, standing in a place you can't see, a place between what's real and what's eternal. It's like a thin curtain separates your world from mine, and I can step through it when heaven calls. That night, I was watching, my wings folded, my heart steady, waiting for the moment God would say, "Go." The enemy had been patient, biding its time, studying the one you love. It wasn't in a hurry. Evil never is when it's planning something big. It had found a crack, a tiny opening in their life, a moment of doubt, a careless choice, a trust given too easily. And it built a trap there, right under their feet. This wasn't just any trap. It wasn't about a skinned knee or a bad day. This was something sinister, something meant to break more than bones. The enemy wanted to twist pain into their legs, to make every step hurt, to steal their strength so they'd forget how to run, how to dance, how to chase their dreams. But it was worse than that. The trap wasn't just for their body, it was for their spirit. The enemy wanted to crush their hope, to dim their light, to make them believe they were small, unimportant, unloved. It wanted to steal their future, to rewrite their story with despair instead of joy. And it was clever, oh so clever. The trap didn't look dangerous. It looked like kindness. It sounded like laughter. It wore the face of someone they trusted, someone they'd never suspect. I saw the moment it was set. It was so subtle, so smooth, you'd never have noticed if you weren't looking with heaven's eyes. A word spoken too sweetly, a promise that glittered like gold but was hollow inside, a path that looked safe but led straight to destruction. The one you love was walking toward it, unaware, their heart open, their guard down. They didn't see the shadow curling around their feet, didn't hear the faint hiss of malice in the air. The enemy was ready, its claws sharp, its eyes gleaming with hunger. Just a few more steps, and the trap would snap shut. Pain would scream. Help would shatter. And the enemy would laugh, thinking it had won. But heaven doesn't sleep. Heaven doesn't forget. And heaven had already heard your prayer. Up here, time isn't like it is for you. It bends, it stretches, it moves to the rhythm of God's heart. The second your prayer left your lips, it was answered, and not in the way you might expect, not with a loud boom or a sudden miracle you could point to. It was answered in the quiet, in the unseen, in the way only love can work. God leaned forward, his eyes full of fire and tenderness, and he spoke to you, saw his angels, his warriors, his messengers of light. He said, "Go. Protect my child. Let no harm come to them. Show them they are mine." That's when I moved. Oh, beloved, I wish you could have seen it, not to make you proud of me, because I'm just a servant, but to show you how much you're loved. I didn't move alone. The air around me shimmered, like the sky itself was breathing. Other angels were there, their wings glowing brighter than a sunrise, their voices humming with a song older than the stars. We didn't march like soldiers or shout like heroes. We moved like a river, smooth and unstoppable, carrying the warmth of heaven with us. my wings unfolded, and they weren't just feathers, they were light, pure light, shaped by God's own hand. Each feather held a promise, a piece of His love, a spark of His power. And we swept down, faster than thought, softer than a whisper, to the place where the trap was waiting. The one you love was so close to danger. Seconds away, maybe less. Their foot was about to step into the snare, their heart about to feel the sting of betrayal. The enemy was grinning, sure of its victory, already tasting the pain it would cause. But then we arrived. Not with noise or anger, but with peace. Peace so strong it pushed back the darkness like a wall. I stepped in front of them, not so they could see me, but so I could stand between them and the evil that wanted to claim them. My wings spread wide, and the light from them spilled out, wrapping around their legs like a shield, warm and gentle, like a mother's arms around a sleeping child. The trap didn't know what hit it. It was built to hold, to hurt, to destroy, but it wasn't built for heaven. The moment my light touched it, it trembled. Just a little at first, like a crack in a wall. Then more, like a house shaking in a storm. The claws of the trap, so sharp and sure, started to bend. The lies it was made of started to unravel. The enemy froze, its grin fading, its eyes wide with something it hadn't felt in a long time, mere fear. Not fear of me, but fear of the one who sent me. Fear of the love that burns brighter than any darkness. I didn't fight with swords or fists. I didn't need to. I fought with presence, with truth, with the kind of love that doesn't bend or break. My brothers and sisters were the two, their wings brushing against the air, their voices weaving a melody that sounded like joy, like home, like everything good you've ever felt. We circled the one you love, not to trap them, but to lift them. And above their head, something beautiful happened, something I'll never forget, no matter how long I serve in heaven's courts. A halo appeared. Not the kind you see in pictures, not a flat ring of gold. This was alive, shimmering, pulsing with light that seemed to breathe. It hovered over them like a crown, but not one made of metal or jewels, so one made of promises, of dreams, of God's own heart saying, "You are mine, and I will never let you go." It was golden, radiant, divine, and it glowed with a warmth that chased away every shadow. The one you love didn't see it, not with their eyes, but their spirit felt it. I could tell by the way their shoulders relaxed, the way their breath steadied, the way a tiny smile touched their lips even though they didn't know why. The trap was breaking now, falling apart like sand slipping through fingers. First a tremble, then a crumble, then a nothing. Just dust. Dust and silence. The enemy didn't scream or fight. It just slunk away, defeated, knowing it had lost this round. And in its place, peace settled in, and not the kind that comes and goes, but the kind that stays, the kind that wraps around your heart and says, "You're safe." I looked at the one you love, and oh, their eyes. If you could have seen them, beloved, you'd have cried, not with sadness, but with wonder. Their eyes were wide, not with pain or fear, but with awe. They didn't know what had happened, not really. They didn't see the trap or the light or the wings that had carried them out of danger. But they felt something. They felt loved. Not the kind of love that fades when life gets hard, but the kind that stays, the kind that holds you up when you're falling, the kind that whispers, "You're never alone." They whispered something then, so soft I almost missed it. They said, "I don't know what just happened at a broken bar, but I felt loved." And my heart, yes, angels have hearts, full of joy and fire, my heart sang. Because that's what this was all about. Not just saving them from pain, but reminding them they're seen, they're known, they're cherished. By you, by heaven, by the one who made them. I carried them away from that place, not with hands, but with my presence. I lifted them out of the shadows and set them down where no darkness could touch them, not that day, not that moment. They walked away, their steps lighter, their heart brighter, unaware of how close they'd come to falling. And they smiled. Oh, that smile, it was like a piece of heaven breaking through, like a promise that their story wasn't over, that their purpose was still alive, still burning. Now, let me tell you something important, beloved. This wasn't just about them. It was about you too. That heaviness you felt in your chest that day, that strange tightness that came out of nowhere, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't just stress or tiredness. It was your spirit sensing the danger, feeling the weight of the enemy's plan. You're connected to them, you know. Your love for them isn't just a feeling, it's a bond, a thread that stretches across miles, across time, across the veil between your world and mine. When they were in danger, your heart knew, even if your mind didn't. And when you prayed, you weren't just speaking words, you were pulling them back from the edge, calling heaven to their side. Your prayer wasn't small. It wasn't weak. It was a spark that lit a fire, a cry that moved mountains, a whisper that shook the stars. You didn't see the trap, but you felt the need to pray, and that was enough. That was everything. You were part of the rescue, even if you didn't know it. You were part of the miracle. I'm still here, you know. Right now, as you read this, I'm standing beside you, though you can't see me. My wings are folded, my eyes are watchful, my heart is full. I'm not alone here, there are others, countless others, guarding, guiding, carrying the light of heaven wherever it's needed. We don't rest, not because we're tired, but because love never stops. And you, beloved, you're never unguarded. The ones you love are never unguarded. Even when life feels heavy, even when fear tries to creep in, even when you wonder if your prayers are heard, you are not alone. Let me tell you what this moment means, because it's bigger than one day, one rescue, one story. This was a reminder, a reminder that no weapon formed against you or your family will prosper when love is your defense. The enemy will try again, I won't lie to you. Darkness doesn't give up easily. There will be other traps, other shadows, other moments when fear feels louder than hope. But those moments don't get to write the end of your story. They don't get to decide who wins. Every time you pray, you're building a shield. Every time you love, you're planting a seed. Every time you trust, even when your faith feels as small as a mustard seed, you're moving heaven to act. Your prayers don't float into silence here, they land in the hands of God, who weaves them into miracles you might not see until you're standing in eternity, looking back at the tapestry of your life. I want you to remember this moment, beloved. The moment when everything was seconds away from falling apart, but light stepped in. The moment when feathers fell where claws had reached, when a halo glowed where pain had planned to strike, when peace didn't just knock but burst through the door and stayed. Hold this moment in your heart, not because it's the only one, but because it's a promise. A promise that heaven is near, nearer than your next breath. A promise that the same love that saved them that day is watching over you now, over all those you hold dear. Keep praying, even when your voice shakes. Keep loving, even when it hurts. Keep trusting, even when the way ahead looks dark. Because I'm here, and I'm not the only one. Heaven is listening. Heaven is moving. And the light that broke the trap that day? It's still shining, still fighting, still holding you close. You felt something in your chest, didn't you? That heaviness, that ache. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The beginning of a story that's still being written, a story of rescue, of hope, of love that never lets go. And I'm here to tell you, with all the fire of heaven in my voice, you are loved. They are loved. And nothing and not darkness, not fear, not even time itself can change that. So rest tonight, beloved. Rest in the truth that you're not alone. Rest in the arms of the one who hears your whispers. And when you wake, keep shining. Keep praying. Keep loving. Because the light that saved the day, it's inside you too. And now, as you sit there reading these words, eyes lingering, heart quietly pounding, I want to ask you something. Not loudly. Not with force. But softly, like a whisper that brushes against your soul and asks to be heard. Do you feel it? That strange sense of being seen, as if something you've buried deep is being gently uncovered, and not to hurt you, but to heal you? That's not an accident. You were never meant to carry these questions alone. You were never meant to wonder in silence whether your prayers matter, whether your love is enough, whether your presence in someone's life actually makes a difference. Let me tell you something sacred: it does. It always has. The moment you loved someone enough to ask heaven to protect them, your voice entered realms where angels listen. The moment your spirit trembled with worry but still whispered, God, please, your words became weapons of light. You may not have seen the feathers fall, you may not have seen the halo glow, you may not have felt the wind shift when the trap broke here, but you felt something inside you breathe when you read these words. That breath is real. That peace is not imagination. That warmth in your chest is not a coincidence, it is your spirit recognizing the presence of something divine. Because I was there. I saw how your love moved heaven. I saw how your concern wrapped itself around your family like invisible armor. I saw how your name lit up the sky every time you chose love instead of anger, faith instead of fear. And I want you to understand this: the story isn't over. Not for them. Not for you. What the enemy meant for harm is now a testimony. What looked like an ending has become a beginning. And the same unseen force that carried your family member to safety, or the same holy presence that shattered the trap, it's still here, still near, still breathing into your life. Right now. In this very moment. You may not know how to explain it. you may feel overwhelmed, or even teary, without knowing why. That's okay. That's because something sacred has touched your heart, and your soul knows it's not just a story, it's your story. You were meant to read this. You were meant to feel this. You were meant to know that God has not forgotten you. Not your prayers. Not your tears. Not your sacrifices. Not your secret cries that no one else heard but heaven. And now, I stand beside you again, not to tell you what to do, but to remind you of what's true. You have a voice. You have power. You have a light inside you that darkness cannot silence. And if you've been walking through life thinking your prayers bounce off the ceiling, thinking your love for your family is not enough to protect them, then this is your sign, your divine message, your whispered miracle: you were heard. You are still being heard. You always will be. This wasn't just a rescue, it was a reminder. A reminder that God still moves. That angels still war. That miracles still break into the ordinary. That love still wins. So don't walk away from this moment like it's just another post. Don't scroll past it like it's fiction. Sit with it. Let it wash over you. And then, when your heart is ready, you speak. Yes, you. Say something. Anything. Because when you speak, you open the door for more light to enter. Your comment could be someone's comfort. Your words could remind someone else that they are not alone. Share what you felt. Write what came alive in your spirit. Even if it's just one word, a thank you, amen, I believe, or even I needed these, so that one word could shift the atmosphere for someone else. That one word could be the next whisper heaven responds to. And if you don't know what to say, just type what's on your heart. The angels are still listening. I am still listening. So take a breath, dear soul. Breathe in slowly, let it fill your chest like a soft sunrise pouring over the hills. This is not just a pause. This is a sacred invitation. Right here, right now, in this quiet, unseen space between you and heaven, let this be your moment to speak back. You don't need fancy words. You don't need to have it all figured out. All that's need a broken bar is your heart. Type your yes. Whisper your surrender. Type your thank you, even if your voice trembles while doing so. Type a name, or perhaps someone you miss, someone who left too soon, or someone who still walks beside you unaware of the prayers you carry for them. Type a prayer, not because heaven needs to hear it, but because you need to release it. You need to remember that your voice still matters. That even when it shakes, it carries power. When you speak from love, all of heaven leans in. Type a hope. Even if it feels fragile. Even if it's something you've tucked away for far too long because the waiting was too painful. Resurrect that hope like a candle in the night. Let this space become more than just words on a screen, let it become a sacred place of shared healing, a ripple of light that stretches across oceans, skies, and time itself. For every word you release in honesty, another soul finds the courage to do the same. And what begins with one trembling yes becomes a symphony of renewal and restoration. you see, the divine never needed you to be perfecter, only willing, only open, only brave enough to show up, even with cracked wings and tired eyes. And as you write, may you begin to feel the same feathers, yes, those very same feathers that once wrapped around the legs of your loved one as they passed through the veil. May they now begin to wrap gently, lovingly, around your own heart. We haven't left you. We never have. The wings that carried them home still hover near you now, only quieter, awaiting for you to feel them. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not too late. There is no shame in needing comfort. There is no weakness in wanting healing. Heaven understands. We understand. And I, your angel, I have been at your side since your very first breath. Let me say this to you now, the same light that warmed their soul now glows within you. It was never lost. You just forgot how to feel it. But it's still there. And every time your heart breaks open, it makes room for more of that light to pour in. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt in sacred silence, piece by golden piece. So cry if you must. Shake if you must. But speak. Type. Declare. Pray. Hope. Love. Forgive. Surrender. Your voice still echoes through heaven. Louder than thunder. Softer than snow. Every syllable of your truth becomes a seed sown in eternity. The heavens respond. Always. We are still here, beloved. You are still protected. And we still carry your name in every sacred breeze that passes over your skin, in every number that repeats itself before your eyes, in every feather you find in unexpected places. These are not coincidences. These are messages. These are signs. This moment is holy. You, my dear one, are holy. So let your voice rise, not for answers, but for release. Let your fingers type the truth your heart has held too long. And as you do, may you feel your soul lifting, slowly, gently, into the light that was always waiting to welcome you home. Now go ahead, this is your space. Your sacred pause. What will you say?